Hello, my name is Navigator, and it is late at night. I do have people in my house that are sleeping, but I wanted to get through this video. This is going to be a review of everything that I picked up on a recent trip to the Washington, D.C., kind of like Virginia area. Mainly, I stopped at a place called Toshi Station in Burke or Springfield, Virginia. They also have a location in Centerville, Virginia called Echo Base. But if you are in the D.C. area, there's not a lot of comic book stores. So if you have the time, it's about like a 30-40 minute drive, depending on traffic, out to Virginia. And this is one of the better places there. I have done a review from another place on the channel, that being Lost in Time Vintage Store. But if you are in the DC area, my two recommendations, once again, would be Toshi Station and Echo Base in Centerville and Springfield, Virginia, and Lost in Time Vintage Store, and I believe Fulton, Virginia, or Fulton, Maryland, I think it is. I don't know, one or the other. But yeah, there's not a lot of videos going over Washington, D.C. collectible stores. That's why I'm repeating myself in case someone was in a similar position to me. You're there on vacation, you want a toy hunt. Those are some places to check out. But I will leave it there regarding the dialogue. Let's get into everything that I got. I'm going to first start off with some of the literature that I picked up. This is something that I do a lot of the stores and events that I go to. I like getting little business cards, so on and so forth, because I will post it up on the back of my arena wall, as you can see there. So, really quickly here, I have a business card, or two business cards actually, from each of these locations, but that is Toshi Station and Echo Base. So there you go if you were interested. I'm not sure if there's anything on the back, but they do buy, sell, trade. There's some like social media and stuff of them. If you wanted to see that too, I'm pretty sure it's just the same though. So we have that, and then some other things I picked up. We got Neon Steve. I don't know. There you go. I figured I'd just show these off, but nothing too crazy. So we have those, but some really cool things I actually did pick up. Number one, I did manage to grab another copy of the DC AEW Origins collab book. I did get this. They're free at comic book stores, but my local one was only handing out one per customer, so I found another one at this store just to hang on to. I really do like this whole collab. I think it's really cool. But next up here, I found something really interesting, and that is going to be comic shop news and like comic news. So first off here, I haven't really read any of these, but it's a Christmas themed comic news, and I believe it just goes over like new comics that are coming out, and has some little articles and just recommendations and stuff like that. Look, a little crossword puzzle, but it's an interesting little thing. I don't have things like these in New York State or really any other comic store that I've been to, but these are the really cool ones. This was all, actually I have duplicates, but these were like newspapers almost of just like comic shop stuff. What do you got? It's just so cool. I just love this. I'm definitely gonna take a look at these. Probably bring them to work, read them, stuff like that. But it seems like they come out every week, I guess. I'm not sure, but these are really cool, and I do like having these. So I'm going to try to start collecting those as well. If they're free, why not? But now let's move on to the figures that I did get. I'm going to move this right here, and I'm actually going to take these business cards off there, throw them there, but I wanted to go over these little containers. So I did manage to get a lot of loose figures from Toshi Station, as you can see. Side note, I didn't get anything from the Echo Base location, but that place does have a lot of cool stuff. But all those loose figures, well, most of them, came in these really cool like blister packs, I think that these are called, or these plastic containers, but these are really cool, and they just came free with the figures. So I'm very glad, because these are really nice for preserving maybe like a one-off loose figure that you have that is rare or something like that, because then you don't have to worry about it floating around in a bag or something like that, or mixed in with other figures. So I will definitely be putting these to use for my loose rare figures. I think those are great, and I'd love to find a place to get those. But starting off here, we do have the Jazzwares Halo the Spartan Collection loose white Spartan the Mark 5B. I'm a huge fan of the Spartan collection. Obviously, I've posted a bunch of reviews of those figures on the channel. These figures, in my opinion, are going to be worth something one day, loose or in package, so I always try to pick them up. I managed to get this for, I think, like 15 bucks, which is a reasonable price for me, and I actually don't have this one, so I can add this to my loose collection, which is really nice. It's in decent condition. Like I always do when I buy these at stores, or if I get them on eBay, I always disinfect them with like wipes and soap and water beforehand. So it's all cleaned up. All of these are all cleaned up. And actually, speaking of disinfecting and kind of cleaning, the next figure that I want to talk about is this really interesting custom figure. So when I got it, the legs were painted all black. I have since scrubbed off all the black paint, and that unveiled these like Triple H Elite pants, or legs, whatever. Excuse me. Something in my throat. I apologize. But they were painted all black with a bunch of white tally marks on the side. So I believe that someone tried to make a custom Jay White, and it wasn't even that bad. But I've always wanted the Adam Rose Elite, so I found this in like the $5 bargain bin, and that's exactly what I got it for. But it's pretty much just a kit bash. Again, it has those Triple H legs, which are really cool. It kind of reminds me of like the American flag, and I love that logo there. So this figure just looks really nice. But I believe the torso and the arms and the hands are all kind of mash, kit bash, whatever you want to call it. But it does have an Adam Rose Elite head. There you go, it's focusing. But yeah, so for $5, I mean, it's in really good shape. I just scrubbed off the paint, and it's just kind of like a little, one-off cool little figure. Maybe I can pretend it's Jay. I mean, I have the ringside Jay White, but you guys know what I mean. I just always kind of wanted it. I always thought the Adam Rose Elite looked cool, so it's nice to have at least the head sculpt of it. And the gear looks pretty sweet, so we have that. Next up here, a figure that really kind of blew my mind, and we actually have two instances of that in this video. But this is going to be the Jazzwares Ultimate UFC something Jon Jones figure. Now, Jon Jones, obviously the greatest fighter alive currently. I mean, he's the UFC heavyweight champion. But this figure, I saw it for $20, and I'd recently kind of been like looking into UFC. So I was like, you know what? Why don't I grab this figure? I mean, he is like the champion right now, so maybe I can throw him with my wrestlers or something like that. But when looking this up on eBay to see what, if I got it for $20, so I wanted to see if it was a decent price. It turns out this thing in box goes for like $100, $200. So this figure is fairly rare. And I like that it comes with the UFC title. That is really cool. I mean, obviously with the titles from the wrestling figures, this is a nice little addition and a decent price. Came with some soft goods there. Really, really cool figure, butterfly joint, so I'm definitely glad to have that in the collection, the GOAT, Jon Jones. And actually, I'm going to leave this last figure for last because it is, that figure is so awesome. But the two in-box figures that I did get are going to be, and I'm not sure what, wave this is from, but it's just like the WWE Elite NXT Finn Balor Demon. I got it for $35. I think I paid a decent price for it. I'm a really big fan of the Demon figures. I'm looking for that Elite 98 version of it. That'll probably be a recent pickup, or a soon-to-be pickup, I should say. But I did grab this one. The box is really beat up, but I don't know. I'm really debating whether to unbox it or not because it really is pretty beat up. But who knows? I might keep it and just kind of sit on it because it is a nice figure, but the leg is warping a little bit, so I don't know. I'll probably end up keeping it in box, though. Who knows? There you go. Finn Balor, NXT, Demon gear. And man, now that I'm looking at it, it is really just so cool. I just love how that looks. All right, next up here, we did finally get Tatanka. This is a figure that I have just debated getting so many times. I've seen it loose, I've seen it in box, and Tatanka is really just a wrestler that I've always kind of been a fan of, and I finally bit the bullet. I think I got it for $30. I thought that was a fair price, and I finally bit the bullet on Tatanka. So there you go, the Legends. This one I will unbox. I do want to have this probably on display here, but yeah, so super cool. We do have Tatanka. And then, finally here, really the piece de resistance is going to be probably my best ever find in the wild. This is going to be a ECW, WCW, WWE, whatever you want to call it, Raven Custom. So when I originally found this, he had the Finn Balor leather jacket on, so it was full plastic. His arms weren't movable. So that is the only thing that I really changed about this figure. I brought it back home and I threw on that, GOAT, the $10 Amazon jacket. I think I've talked about it a couple times on the channel, but this like $10 leather jacket from Amazon, super cool, super posable. So I threw that on there, but he's got double jointed knees. It seems like this is like a Bret Hart or a John Cena like pants. And then he has elite articulation, double jointed elbows as well. And then he's got some pretty cool hands that are wrapped. There is some painting on the wrist there and I'm just I'm not a fan of like paint that isn't, professionally done. So I hid those with the jacket. But overall, the head is great. It's from this old, like early 2000s Raven figure that I looked up, but it's on there really well. There's no looseness, there's no problems at all. I got this undershirt and the flannel that came with it. And the best part about it is I got this guy for 28 bucks. Literally the best find I think I've ever found in the wild. I mean, above chases, above everything, variants, whatever you want to call it. Just such an awesome figure to pick up because I'm a huge ECW fan. I'm a really big Raven fan. I love his gimmick, and I'm just so fortunate to really have found this. So this is awesome. Again, a custom Elite Raven figure from wrestling, ECW, WCW, WWE, like I said. So we do have that, and that's going to be it, folks. So I will leave it there. Yeah, quick review. We got Tatanka, Finn Balor, a bunch of literature, and then these figures that you see before you that came in those blister packs. All right, let's end it there, folks. As always, my name is Navigator. Have a nice day. Take care.